This product is popular all around the world, and now we're about to see how it's made. The candy line begins long before the first cooker is ever heated. Before one gummy is formed, thousands of tons must move as a single coordinated system. The factory survives on constant access to identical ingredients at extraordinary volume. Every flavor, color, and texture starts with disciplined supply before production can begin. Only when the ingredients are stabilized can the factory promise identical candy on every line. By this point, every ingredient has become a controlled industrial material, ready for mass movement. The scale is measured not by one machine, but by how many systems move together at once. Once collected, the supply network turns into motion, feeding the plant without interruption. The candy factory runs only because the transport chain never stops feeding it. Beyond the gate, logistics becomes manufacturing. Here, the supply chain stops being distant industry and becomes part of the factory itself. What arrives as freight must now become controlled internal flow. At intake, every ingredient must find the right route before production can begin. Once unloaded, every raw stream must be matched to the exact production roll. Precision starts here, where every ingredient is given a purpose before it is ever mixed. Before mixing can begin, the line itself must be made perfectly clean. In confectionery, cleanliness is not a pause in production. It is part of production.
Only after the line is clean can the candy base be built.
The recipe becomes real when separate ingredients begin to move as one system. Now the factory will force this mixture into its final candy structure. This is the moment the factory turns sweetness into structure. After heat comes refinement, where the mass is prepared for exact shaping. After cooking, precision replaces brute force. Now one neutral stream will become many finished candy identities. Variety is created here, not by slowing the line, but by splitting it with precision. Before a single bear or worm appears, the flow must be perfectly controlled. At this stage, precision is measured in fractions of a second and fractions of a degree. Now the liquid mass will finally take the shape consumers recognize. This is where syrup stops being a liquid and starts becoming a product.
Form alone is not enough. Each piece must now prove it was made correctly.
At this speed, accuracy must come from the machine before it can come from the package.
Once approved, the candy must travel through the factory without losing order or integrity.
Movement is part of manufacturing here. Transport inside the factory is itself a process. From here, the candy will gain the surface and texture that the consumer finally sees.
Final character is built not in one recipe, but in the way the surface is treated after forming.
Before packaging, each gummy must hold its texture, softness, and coating under control.
Now the factory must confirm that what it made is ready to be sold.
In a factory at this scale, a candy is finished only when the data says it is finished. From this point forward, the product is no longer changing as candy, only as packaged goods.
The factory now prepares to turn finished candy into finished merchandise.
At packaging speed, the final product becomes countable, shippable, and ready for the market. The product is now ready to leave the scale of the shelf and enter the scale of the warehouse. After production, order must be preserved until the right route opens. Even in storage, the factory is still working, arranging the product for release. The film ends where the factory begin again tomorrow, with millions of finished pieces leaving the line. The last step is release, when the closed system of the factory opens to the outside world. From raw feedstock to finished freight, the entire system exists to keep the flow unbroken.